Hello, Mr. Swiren. Before we get started, how about you tell me a little bit about yourself?
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Newman, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk with me. I know you're a busy man. I really appreciate that. I attended Upper Dublin High School, and I was in FBLA, which is Future Business Leaders of America, for 3 years. I was the treasurer of that club my senior year. I was also in Broadcasting Club as well as 4 years of varsity tennis. I've participated and watched sports for my entire life. I love every sport there is, basically. And I knew I wasn't good enough to become a professional athlete. Like most kids who play sports out there aren't going to become an athlete. But I knew I also wanted to stay in the sports field and wanted to keep up my passion for sports and really work in them, which was ultimately a deciding factor in the choice of my major, becoming a sports management major in the School of Tourism and Hospitality Management at Temple University. I work right now with AYS as an intern. It's a sports marketing group that works with the U.S. Open for tennis. They do many different events leading up to the first week of the tournament so that tennis players can relax and kind of breathe a little bit before they have to really get down to it for the tournament. They can kind of just hang out with like the top chefs of the world and hang out with fellow tennis players without competition, really. They also work with Super Bowl. They did events for this year. They did events for NBA All-Star Week in the past. It's a really small company, but they do such big events, and I really admired that, so I looked into that. Otherwise, right now my career aspirations are probably just being a sports marketer for either a team like the Philadelphia Flyers or the Phillies, or an event like the World Cup or the Olympics even, just a big tournament that kind of brings people together. I want to be able to market that. I want to be the guy that people kind of turn to and they want me to go out and advertise and sell those tickets and be able to market a sports team or an event. That's kind of ultimately what I want to do, and I think I'm going to try and head down that career path.
That sounds great. I'm glad you have such good head on your shoulders. Not many people your age have a plan that goes past 6 months.
Thank you.
Tell me something significant, a significant accomplishment that you've done, that you've had in your life.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you asked. Just recently working with AYS, as I mentioned before, they work with the U.S. Open, and part of working with the U.S. Open is getting the major companies that sponsor some tennis players or just want to get their name out there and sell some stuff. They usually book hotel rooms and buy tickets to the Open, and my major responsibility working at AYS was calling up those companies and kind of saying and pushing them towards, you should book with us because we can give you the best deals and we can make sure your experience is unmatched by anybody else. So I had to get on the phone and, kind of put myself out there really and just call them and say, you know what, book with us. I think we can give you the best bang for your buck. Pardon the cliche, but that's really what it came down to. And I hadn't really done that before. It's my first internship. I never really called anybody on the phone before to try and buy stuff. Honestly, I usually hang up on the people calling from a radio broadcast that say, hey, I'm trying to take a survey. But now it's me on the other side, and I had to make people not want to hang up on me and figure out what they wanted. I ended up being able to sell a lot of those rooms and basically making those companies and corporations, big or small, a lot of money and helping their revenue. And I think that really was one of my biggest accomplishments, as well as being kind of multifaceted, where somebody needed something while I was helping at the U.S. Open event, I could go over there and help them with that, like with a chef or something. But then somebody needed help with parking situation, I could go over there and help them with that. I think just being able to work in different realms of the different job areas definitely helped me out as well.
I just need to say that at such a young age, a freshman in college, having such responsibility, brand new at an internship,
yeah,
it's very, very impressive.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Tell me something that you've learned in class. What have you learned in class this year?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. Here I am, we're all just moseying on into a 9 a.m., tired, spring semester of college. Thinking, all right, let's hear what this guy has to say. But one of the first slides Professor Petrucci put up was about being a top 20%er. And that set the tone for me for the whole rest of the semester. I wanted to be that top 20%er. I wanted to work hard and get people to know who I am. I wanted to be the guy where if I'm working a job, somebody comes to me and says, I heard from so-and-so that you were the guy they trusted and you came through, and I really want you to help me with this, and we can see where that leads. And I really want to be the guy that people turn to for help and for what they need done. I think I can do that for them. Another thing is definitely leadership. Most specifically, individualized consideration, I think, is a huge part of leadership. I think that getting to know your coworkers or employees working under you is just probably the most important factor of being a good leader, in my opinion. I think that if you don't know who you're working with or who's working for you, you don't really know what's going on. You don't know whether you can trust them. You don't know whether they're going to get the job done. But if you kind of learn about them, learn who they are, know that they're right for this job and that you can assign them something, they'll get it done. I think that's a huge part of just being a leader and being able to kind of workforce, and kind of be successful. I think that's a huge part of it. But I kind of just want to, I'll give a little shout out to Professor here. It kind of gave me a little boost to work harder and go farther. And I really think that's the biggest thing I learned in this class, along with the different vocabulary and the different strategies and all that. It really kind of showed me that people are going to be behind me, chasing me the entire way, but I got to stay a step ahead of them.
Thank you very much for coming in. You were very impressive, and we'll be hearing from you very soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No problem.